Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Johnston, out on a walk with my neighbor because Mr. Johnston gets mad when I stop because it makes the dogs crazy. And I'm going to be collecting some different materials for our natural sculpture that we're going to do tomorrow. So if you go outside and play, you can pick up twigs, rocks, leaves, branches, whatever you can find that looks interesting to you. And as you can see, I'm doing a little exercise right now, and I'm going to turn this off before I get out of breath, and you all know that I should work out more, even though I just told you that. So I will be back later. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Mrs. Johnston, starting off the day fresh and clean today for our video, and to talk to you about an artist named Andy Goldsworthy. So Andy Goldsworthy is an artist who worked primarily in nature, and all of the things that he made are made with natural objects that he finds outside. And he uses all of those things to create his beautiful works of art. It's surprising the type of things that he could make with all of those things that he finds outside. He was actually born in England in the year 1956, and his first artworks he made were outside in his family property around his home. And throughout the years, he's created a lot of different artworks in countries all over the world. And he makes some very, very interesting works of art, which I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to hit pause and flip the camera. So I'm going to be showing you some different pictures from a Scholastic Art magazine. This is a picture of Andy Goldsworthy in an arch that he created completely out of stone. So I'm going to show you some other different things that he's made. You can see here, he's created the body. Imagine if you laid outside on the driveway and it rained and then you got up and it left the mark of your body. Additionally, this is all made of leaves, which I think is pretty cool. Possibly made in what season would you say? Fall. And this was made in the winter of different pieces of ice. Flip the page here. This one was created out in the water, which I think is really interesting. Look at that really cool piece of wood or ice. So he says, I wanted this line to be made up of wood, ice, wood, ice, wood, ice. So a little bit of a combination. These rocks here, he put in a spiral, which I think are very interesting. He broke them and pieced them back together. I think this one's really cool too. The two different kinds of rocks. Some leaves floating in water. Imagine having to deal with the wind and the movement of the water in addition to creating your design. So this looks like some big reeds or blades of grass floating. You have to ignore my camera circle there. And then here it looks like he made just a giant rainbow of leaves. Fall seems like it would be the best time to make that, and I believe that's just right down on the dirt. I had hoped to be doing this outside today, but it seems a little rainy, so I gathered up all my materials yesterday and brought them inside. I went on a walk with my neighbor Scott, and we gathered up all these supplies. I did not gather that. She just decided she'd like to be part of this video today. So if you have gone on a walk and gathered all of your supplies, you can think about what you would like to make with them. I'm going to give you a few more pieces of information. You can see some of the different things that I got. The interesting thing is that Andy Goldsworthy considers his works to be like collaborating and working with nature. So Mother Nature is his partner artist for his projects. And he would take a really long time to create all of these beautiful artworks that he did and then just leave them to the elements. So imagine working for all of that time and then taking and walking away from your artwork and letting it be destroyed or torn and tattered by the wind or rain or sun. I'm not sure how I would feel about that, leaving something just to be destroyed by nature after all of the work, but I suppose the process is the most important part. Before he would leave, when he finished, he would take a picture. So that's why we have the pictures that we had in the Scholastic Art magazine. Additionally, something really interesting is that Andy Goldsworthy didn't take any tools with him out into nature, to create his artworks. He would just use things that he found to create his artwork, to perhaps tie something together or make it stick together. Can any of you guys think of something that you could use like a glue to stick your pieces together? So here I've got some different leaves. I found some flowers and some different seed pods and cones. Lots of really interesting pieces of bark. I put down a piece of newspaper when I got all of my stuff out. If it's possible, I'd suggest that you create your artworks perhaps outside. I see you. Outside, maybe in the driveway or on the sidewalk. Go on. You need to go. Out. Get out. Yeah, I have 2 helpers that really would like to participate in this project today. So Wally and Kai, say hello. Say hi. Say, we hope you like this project. Wally, can you say Andy Goldsworthy? So as you can see, I collected a bunch of different pieces of bark and things like that. And what I'm going to do is see what type of a creation that I could make with those. Some other activities that you could do with the things that you find is maybe organizing them into groups by color. You could sequence them from largest to smallest. And the thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and create something similar to a sculpture that Andy Goldsworthy might do with the things that he finds out in nature. The difference here being that my stuff is inside and all of his pieces were outside and would be left there. So I'm going to take and put all these things together. Once you find your things, you can do the same. So here's a piece that I created that I made out of bark. And I tried to put all of the pieces of bark, a lot of it in a horizontal pattern so that it's creating semi-straight lines. And then I found this really cool curvy branch that I used, and to kind of highlight that shape that that branch made, I pushed some of these little flowers into there, which is interestingly not as easy as you would think to find it and make it stay where you want it without any adhesive. So if you remember earlier, I asked you what kind of things you could use from nature to hold things together. So you could obviously find a natural crack, but have any of you ever gone outside and stuck your fingers in the sticky stuff on a tree or a leaf? I imagine that sap would make a good adhesive. So there's one of my things that I made. Here's another creation that I did, all with different seed pods that I found kind of in a curved line on top of some bark. And all of these things kind of remind me of the end of a season, when they die and dry all up for the winter. And then that little piece of hope right there, that bright yellow flower, which reminds us that a new season is on its way. So those are a couple of the things that I've done. And remember, I told you could sort or sequence also. So let's just take apart some of these things. You can see I've got some little flowers. So I could sort things into piles by things that are the same. Do a little sorting activity. It's kind of something else to do with these pieces that you found before you take them all back outside. And I will be taking mine back outside because I've had some other little friends join the fun here. Some little bugs and things, of course, came crawling out. These are a job hazard when working in nature, I'm sure, because I poked myself with some of those. Sometimes when we come home from a walk, the dogs have these stuck in their fur. So as you can see, that would be another little fun activity that you could do, just sorting things And then also you could do sorting by color, or you could do sorting by size and sequence by size, all kinds of fun things and activities that you could do with these different things that you find out in nature. Again, I would recommend doing these outside as opposed to inside. That way, if you have any little creatures that make their way in, like, I'm not really even sure what that is, but I found a spider that was going to be part of the project as well, and we just took him back where he belongs, which is outside. So I hope that this is something that you will enjoy doing together as a family, creating some different sculptures with the things that you find in nature, and doing a bunch of different fun activities for the day. So I'm going to finish up today's art lesson on Andy Goldsworthy. You can go online and look him up and see some of the different types of things that he's done and created out in nature. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's followed along this week. I got some nice pictures from a bunch of different students and students that I have at Windermere, and then some people from different districts and different states. So I just want to mention those people. I'd like to say thank you to Leah Vincent and her children who live in Maryland. I would like to say thank you to Mrs. Schrader and her children. Mrs. Schrader is a intervention tutor at Pifer with me. I'd also like to say thank you to Fair Groves, to Jordan Burge, to Andrew Gamble, who all created some different faces, to the Taylor boys, current and past students and their moms, to Peyton and Nevaeh Hahn and their mom, to, let me see, Nora Rowe, Ezra Rowe, and Gideon Rowe, who were students at our school last year, and also to Mrs. Little's grandsons, who all participated and made a picture with us, and then to my friend Delaney McCallum, who created something also by watching our YouTube video. So thank you to all those people who participated. If I missed you, I'll try and give you a little shout out next week. I am planning to do some more activities throughout the week next week. If you have markers, that's something that I'm planning to use next week. Washable markers are best, so if you have to make a grocery store run and you don't have any, perhaps you could pick some up. I'm also going to use some foil, some styrofoam if you have a meat tray. If you can clean that off after you have dinner, you can use that for some of our projects. And then we're going to use some different shapes and geometry next week. So I'm looking forward to some fun new projects throughout the week next week. I am also going to do a fun little activity today at 5 o'clock live on Facebook. So if you'd like to join me for some fun weekend games and activities that I suggest, I will see you at 5 o'clock. Have a great day and a great weekend, and remember to wash your hands.